As I'm sure you guys already know, for the while, there's been a big push from the West to force Japan to bend the knee to Western sensibilities and change the way they do anime, manga, and games. Now, obviously, this is not anything new. We've seen this before. However, in the last month, there has been a major push and some major things that have happened. So, started back in about a month ago. The Asahi Shimbun said UN is urges Japan to end discrimination against women, and it basically goes on to state, their complaints about Japan uh, doing all this discrimination against women, and that some of these things in the past Japan has implemented, and they do this periodically, like this says in 2003, 2009, 2016. And then we've got this Hiroyuki Taniguchi, who is the professor at Aoyama Gakuin University, pointed out the necessity of listening to the guidance given by the UN committee. So I wanted to emphasize this before we go further, because there are a lot of people who think that it's Japan, they're based, they're never going to give in to Western demands. There's a big push even within Japan to do this. Then, about a couple weeks later, back in October 30th, this is from Niche Gamer. UN committee criticizes Japanese media may incite violence against women and girls. UN committee on the elimination of discrimination against women has reportedly expressed concern about Japanese media and speculated impact it could have on gender and sex-based violence. Oh my goodness. According to free speech advocate and politician Yamada Taro, the Japanese Cabinet Office, Gender Equality Bureau, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirmed the contents of the meeting. However, nothing further was said about the current state of Japanese media. The Japanese government has been thankfully slow to respond to external pressure when it comes to censorship of Japanese media. However, the same cannot be said for its corporations. But for the time being, free speech remains enshrined in Japanese law with few exceptions. So let's go and look over here. Now, this is Yamada-san's Twitter account, which you can find. Now, if you're wondering who he is, like I said, he's a politician. He ran with Akamatsu-sensei. They campaigned together for the Japanese Diet. But anyway, he goes on to say that, talk about the report. Now, this is from Google Translation, so take it for what it's worth. In the final opinion, concerns were expressed about that pornography, video games, manga, and other animated products may incite violence against women and girls based on gender or sexual orientation. Further commented, effectively implementing existing legal measures and monitoring programs to address the production and distribution of pornography, video games, and animation products that reinforce discriminatory gender stereotypes and reinforce sexual violence against women. This is stuff that need to look out for. So Yamada-san continues, this one-sided content denies the freedom of expression in manga, anime, and games and calls for them to be cornered through legal actions and surveillance, which is extremely unjust. Now, he ran on a free speech platform with Akamatsu-sensei. Now, for those who don't know, Akamatsu-sensei is the mangaka, former mangaka, I should say, who did series like AI, Love You, Love Hina, Negima, which basically propelled yours truly to become a semi-little somebody in the anime manga world. And then he finished out his career with UQ Holder. So, but he's always been a big free speech advocate. And he's also been a big proponent of, now he's very anti-pirate, which I get. I understand. He was very concerned that Japanese publishers and authors were losing a lot of money back in the day when I was publishing Negima spoilers and stuff. But he was also a big proponent of stuff that had gone out of print building a platform where people could still read this stuff legally. So he wasn't just anti-pirate. He had a solution to the problem that says, hey, people can't find this stuff. This stuff has gone out of print. Publishers like, we're not going to publish this anymore. Let's put up at least some legal place online where they can pay a subscription fee or whatever, and then have access to all this manga. So this is where the real neat punch of the video comes into play. So back 14 years ago, Akamatsu-sensei created a website called JKami, and this is the where he was doing all this stuff, which was now known as Manga Library Z. Anyway, it decided to shut down the site as of November 26th. I have already retired from management, but this announcement was written on behalf of the company. First, let me explain the service itself. Manga Library Z is an advertising revenue-based site that distributes ebooks, mainly out-of-print manga, for free and returns advertising revenue to the authors. So it's a win-win. Server fees and other costs are maintained mainly, and other costs are mainly covered by paid premium membership fees. Again, this is all, no one has any objection to this, I don't think. Even the people who want to go out to pirate sites now, there are some who will pay to help cover the cost of a maintenance fee. So I don't think that, none of this is even a concern or anything. Obviously, it wouldn't be. Why would it be? Direct cause of the site being down at this time was a notice from payment processing companies who were terminating all payment services, including payment methods other than credit card payments. All credit cards, including JCB, were suddenly unavailable, and other payments except BitCash were also unusable. So MasterCard, Visa, all these credit card bills gone. All in collusion, by the way. In addition, payments for months that had already been passed were withheld, and since no premium membership fees were received for the period or in the future, we were in a situation where we could not even cover the server cost. After careful consideration by the Manga Library Z management staff, they came to the decision to shut down the site, judging that it is impossible to operate on BitCash revenue alone. Even if we find an alternate payment agency, there's a possibility that the same phenomenon will happen again. We want to avoid getting by. Okay, I see. This is the translation. So basically, they want to avoid deleting the problematic works that Western companies, these credit card companies, have. And of course, you know what kind of content that will be. But this time, on what basis will they declare a suspension of payment services? How much of a penalty will be imposed for how long it will last? What specific workarounds were available? So basically, he goes on to talk about how his Love Hina manga was banned from Apple's ebook app for a while because it gets a little etchy. Now, there's Barbie doll nudity, which means, what you would expect. You don't see any bits, but characters are nude. And yes, some of them are teenage girls, but it's, part of the stupidity of the story. Not my favorite thing about it, but there it is. The stories are actually pretty good otherwise. Anyway, he goes on, in recent years, payment services have issued unprecedentedly strong conditions and penalties, and if these are left unchecked, it is certain that they will become a problem, not only for ebooks, but for the entire Japanese content industry, and he's not lying. So what he's talking about here is that there are a lot of sites like DL site, there's Pixiv. If you don't know what it is, DL site sells doujinshi, and of course a lot of this is going to be hentai stuff. Pixiv, a lot of Japanese artists used to use this, and I think there's a free site, and there's a free site, and then they have a paid site, and on the free site, the authors may or may not show you everything, and then the paid stuff, you get obviously more content. Sometimes it was early access to a manga that's being published digitally only, and then later gets a book published. But sometimes these authors, a lot of these authors that you would see doing clean manga on the official deal would do naughty stuff on the backside for their Pixiv stuff. You're like, whoa, okay, wow. But these credit card companies decided to ban all this stuff because it was all problematic. It's all apparently violence against women and all that other stuff. So I just wanted to put this out as a warning because, quite frankly, Japan, I'm afraid, will cave the knee. Maybe not the Japanese government, but the fact that these companies want to make money and they get a decent amount of money from the West. And so if the West demands them, hey, you're going to do X, you're going to do Y, you're going to do Z, well, guess what? They're going to do it. And you're going to start seeing manga getting changed on the Japanese side because they're not going to like say, no, we're not going to change it and then send stuff out, block the West from getting it. They're gonna bend the knee. I'm afraid. I really am. I don't know. Maybe because Akamatsu-sensei used to do this stuff for a living. You know, maybe he can help prevent publishers from bending the knee. But I don't think ultimately he'll be successful. To be honest, I just really don't. But anyway, that's me enough from rambling. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and all that other stuff. We'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.